I was the girl, the one who had everything figured out. Or at least, that's what everyone thought. Pretty popular, always smiling. I wasn't a cheerleader, I was too cool for that. But I had the kind of high school life that other girls envied. And then one day, Ferris Bueller showed up. I'd never met anyone like him. He wasn't like the jocks or the rich kids trying too hard. He had this energy. He made life feel like a movie. Everything was effortless, spontaneous, fun. From the first time he flashed that ridiculous, confident grin at me, I was hooked. Ferris could talk his way into anything and out of everything. Teachers adored him, students wanted to be him, parents thought he was an angel, and me, I fell for him. Hard. When Ferris set his sights on something, he got it, and he wanted me. And when Ferris Bueller wants something, he doesn't ask if you want it too. He just decides it's happening. Living in Ferris's world, dating Ferris was like being on a roller coaster. It was thrilling, unpredictable, and if I'm being honest, a little reckless. At first it was exciting. Ferris had this way of making the world bend to his will. If something wasn't fun, he'd change the rules. He lived like nothing mattered but the moment. And when you're 17, that's intoxicating. We skipped classes together, snuck into concerts, talked about running away to Europe after graduation. But slowly I started to notice something. Ferris never asked me what I wanted. If we did something, it was because he thought it would be fun. If he had a plan, I was just part of it. And if something went wrong, Ferris never suffered the consequences. Someone else always did. I should have seen it then, but I didn't. And then came the day off, the legendary one. Ferris wakes up, decides he doesn't feel like going to school, fakes an illness, and by lunch, I'm in a stolen Ferrari cruising through Chicago. At the time, it was perfect. The parade, the fancy restaurant, the museum, he made it feel like the world was ours. And God help me, I loved it. I mean, what girl wouldn't? But what Ferris didn't bother to think about, what never even crossed his mind, was what would happen after. The fallout. Ferris gets away, I take the fall. We got caught. Me. Principal Rooney had been chasing Ferris all day, but he couldn't catch him. Instead, he caught me. And Ferris? He just disappeared like he always did. Rooney found proof that I had skipped school clear-cut evidence. He hauled me into his office, smug as hell, thinking he finally had something to get to Ferris. But Ferris had already covered his tracks. So I took the punishment, and it wasn't just detention. No, Rooney was out for blood. He pulled my entire academic record and found every little absence, every tardy slip. And since I had been skipping school with Ferris all year, there were a lot. More than enough to push me over the threshold for excessive, unexcused absences. Which meant I wasn't allowed to graduate. Ferris leaves, I stay behind. So there I was, the perfect girlfriend, the cool girl, the one who had Ferris's back through everything. And I was stuck repeating my senior year. And Ferris just left. No fight, no grand romantic gesture, no standing up for me. He just smiled, shrugged, and said, "Wow, Sloane, that really sucks. Well, I guess I better make the most of MIT." And just like that, Ferris Bueller walked away without a scratch. No consequences, no regrets. Just another adventure in his perfect little life. And me, I was left behind to clean up his mess. Breaking up and moving on, I dumped him. At first, I think he thought I was joking. Because in Ferris's world, nothing bad ever really happens to him. But when he realized I was serious, that I wasn't just going to sit there and be another one of his sidekicks, he did what Ferris always does. He smiled, said something charming, then walked away. I was angry, humiliated, but mostly I was done. Jeannie, Allison, and the best thing that ever happened to me. You know who didn't walk away? Jeannie Bueller. Yeah, I know. Weird, right? Ferris's own sister. But Jeannie, she got it. She had spent her entire life watching Ferris get away with everything, and she hated it as much as I did. One day, we got to talking, and I told her what happened, how Ferris didn't even try to help me, how I was stuck at Schirmer for another year while he was off playing genius at MIT. Jeannie told me that she had actually helped get Rooney a job at MIT just so he could mess with Ferris one last time. I swear, I almost kissed her for that. Then one day in the lunchroom, Allison Reynolds overheard us talking, and it turned out she had her own Ferris story, back when he was still David Lightman. And let me tell you, he was just as reckless, just as selfish, just as Ferris back then. And then Claire joined us, and suddenly I wasn't alone anymore. The last summer of freedom, that summer it was our revenge. Not on Ferris, on the idea of Ferris. We stopped trying to be perfect. We stayed out late, ate whatever we wanted, did whatever we felt like doing. We let go. We got fat, and for the first time in a long time, I wasn't trying to impress anyone. But what I didn't know, that our punishment was coming. Shermer High, fall 1986, the horror begins. First day back, new principal, new rules. Jesse Wilson, the junior-senior gym exemption, gone. Daily PE for all 4 years, mandatory. And because we skipped gym last year, we retroactively failed it, which meant 3 hours of gym every single day. The ultimate revenge, graduation day, 1987. We survived. No, scratch that. We thrived. And by the end of the year, we weren't just walking across the stage at graduation. We were ripped. And Ferris, booted from MIT, stuck at Penn State, where we just so happened to become student fitness instructors. So yeah, Ferris Bueller finally had to show up for gym class. And this time, he wasn't getting out of it.